Welcome to the Old Souls and Seekers podcast, brought to you by Satori Prime. If you're anything like us, you've been around and around the personal development and mindset block quite a few times. You've read the books, watched the videos, attended the seminars, and even worked with a coach or two, and yet you still find yourself searching for more. You may even feel stuck or that you should be farther along than where you are right now. And after doing over a decade of mindset work, we've come to this realization. Mindset work is like a small hit of dopamine that distracts you from your true work. You get these little hits of feeling better, only to be met with the same underlying conditions and patterns over and over again. Now, mindset was an important part of your evolution as well as ours, but it hits a plateau, and now you find yourself ready for that deeper layer of growth and expansion. If you're listening to this podcast, then you're ready to get off that Ferris wheel. This podcast is only for those that are ready to dive deep and do the real inner healing work. For those that are ready to move past more information into actual experiences. If you're looking for more understanding, then you've come to the wrong place. This is a home for old souls ready to fully embrace and remember who they truly are. Ready to make a profound difference in their lives and in the lives of others. So welcome home, dear one. We're excited to be part of your journey.
All right, okie dokie, folks. Welcome. I like how you guys always come in. I like right at the middle of a conversation Elon and I are having. I told him, we're discussing the topic beforehand, and I said, today's topic is about judgment. He goes, oh, good, because I do none of that, so you'll do all the coaching today.
Self-judgment, you said.
Self-judgment, yeah. And I said, great.
And I said, I don't know anything about that.
And I said, great. Well, if you don't judge yourself, then I certainly do. And I would love some coaching from you on that topic. So that's where you guys came in, scooched in right at that part. So welcome, everybody. As we said, judgment. Yeah, so let's just get to the topic here so we're not wasting your guys' time. But just if it is your first time, you don't know who we are. It looks like for a lot of you guys, it is. I'm Guy. That's Elon. We are brothers, and not in the way that people say that when they've been good friends for a while. We are legitimately blood brothers, born to Russian immigrant parents, originally from Israel, and then have been living in the States for just over 32 years as of like a week and a half ago. We have been on this amazing journey together of about 20 years of doing introspection work, personal development, a wide array of plant medicine and shamanic type work, and all sorts of mystical, energetic work. And so really at the forefront of all this is somewhere in 2003, Elon and I did a course together, and we just built a radical passion for personal transformation. It immediately impacted our lives and added what we believe is the most incredible ROI, which is the qualitative value of our lives, of our relationships, of our health, our ability to communicate, our ability to be with challenging circumstances, our ability to resolve patterns and things that had been within our family and lineage and genealogy for maybe hundreds, even thousands of years. And it's kind of like the buck stops here, right? Because at the moment awareness is part of your life, inevitably things are going to shift for you. So we have not only been on our personal journey, but we've been coaching for about 15 years. And for a while, we were in the affiliate marketing space, taught sales and marketing, but also kind of personal development on the back end to personal clients. And then 4 years ago, we said, screw it, we're going to release these companies we had built, which we're all doing about multiple seven figures, and decided to squarely focus on our true heart's work and passion, which is sharing what has taken us 20 years and over $1 million of personal investment to learn within ourselves. And if it is your first time here, chances are you're somebody who's read a lot of books, maybe have even worked with other teachers. If we can offer what our gifts are, is that we have been very successful at taking some pretty complicated mystical and spiritual and personal development experiences and teachings and synthesizing them down into really simple, practical practices that really radically transform a person's life in a very, very short period of time. So if you're here, hopefully you're okay with us sharing some stuff with you about that. And you should know that once in a while in the group, we're going to ask you if you want someone from our team to reach out to you, and they may have a conversation with you about goals that you have and seeing if programs that we have, which are paid programs, are a good fit for where you are in your journey right now, and if we can assist you on getting to wherever it is that you feel like you want to go. If you don't want to hear about paid programs at all, or ever want anybody to talk to you about it, then you can, opt out of the group. It's not a big deal, but that is part of the culture of the group here. And trust me, it's very, very easygoing. We're not jamming anything down anybody's throat.
You can enjoy the free content that we put on here.
Absolutely. You always get to choose, as we say. You can raise your hand and choose. We never.
Yeah, Jasmine, who is one of our support team members, has actually been a student of ours for a very, very, very long time. She was at our first, she's like one of our first live events, and she's just been around us for a long time. And now we have the pleasure of having her on our team, which is amazing. But she had actually said something, because she's now in one of our programs working with a coach. Mm-hmm. And I love what she was saying. Like, she'd gone through a lot of our programs. Both, she went to a live event, she's done some of our digital products, etc. But this is the first time that she's actually worked with one of our one-on-one coaches, and she was saying what a profound difference it makes to work with someone, and like how much value she's getting out of it. And so I just thought, like, when I heard that, I was like, wow, it's so interesting, because I know even for me in certain areas, like not in personal development, because personal development is something, like Guy said, we had spent over $1 million, and that's actually quantified in experiences, mentors, coaches, programs, seminars, masterminds, you name it. But there's certain areas where I used to be so limited in thinking like, oh, I'll just learn this on my own. Like tennis, which I'm obsessed with, is one of those things. Like I'd just watch videos on YouTube, right? Or I would buy like a $99 hit a better forehand program, etc., right? Because let's be honest, hiring a coach to work with you one-on-one isn't cheap, at like $100+ a pop for an hour. It's not cheap. And I remember the first time I went out to play, it was like such an eye-opening experience, because I'd been doing all this stuff on my own. And I think there's absolutely power in educating yourself that way. But let's not kid ourselves. Like, there's a profound difference between working someone in a live one-on-one interaction and watching videos online that you are doing in the comfort of your own home or whatever. And when we talk about personal development specifically, it's like we have so many ways that we hide from ourselves. We have so many strategies to avoid looking at the things that will actually make the biggest difference in our lives, because they might be painful or uncomfortable, or we don't want to go back to this thing, or whatever it is. And so when you're like watching a video like this and things might get triggered, or you do an online program, or you even read a book or watch a YouTube video, guess who's doing it? The little protector part, like the little manager part that's been managing your whole life to avoid you from looking at these things, is the one reading the book.
That's right.
It's the one watching the video. It's the one doing all these things. And it's like, can you get aha moments and insights? Yes. Here's my contention to all of it. It's like, if you're here because you're wanting something, right? Like, we name this Old Souls and Seekers because we realized that's who we were attracting. Old souls are people that you just know, like, you've done this dance before, right? Like, this is not your first rodeo. This is not your first time on planet Earth. You just have innate wisdom, and you have interest in things that you might look around and go like, I don't see that the rest of them are doing it. Seekers are for those, because we are too. It's like, you just always searching for that answer, right? Like, you always want to find that next level, that next depth. Like, and when I think about it, it comes to this place of like, I think we're all seeking to find who we truly are.
Our authentic self.
Yeah, like just and check in, like just let me know in the comment box, does this resonate? You know, like when you're reading the books, when you're doing the seminars, when you're watching the videos, like what is the answer that you're seeking? Right? It might be something like, how do I become more confident, or how do I get over anxiety, or what we're going to talk about today, like how do I stop judging myself? At the essence of it, like under all those questions, right? Like you want to know why you're here and who you are. Like who is the truest essence of me? And while I would love to tell you that if you go read this book or this series or go watch this video, you're going to find that hasn't been my experience, nor the experience of any of the people that I've coached. Because you are the one in your own way.
Right.
And the parts that are in the way are the parts that are usually reading the books and doing all that kind of stuff. And when you sit with someone, let me say it this way. All that stuff allows you to view and see the part, like see the parts that are in the way. Like reading the books, like it can point and allow you to see it. And the aha moment that we have a lot of the times is like, oh my God, I didn't know that was there. I didn't know that that's why I was ruining my life. And you get really excited. You're like, oh my God, I find out why my relationships aren't working, or why I suck with money, or why he left me, or why my kids are so irritating to me. Like I figured it out. But then your life looks exactly the same a week later, because the aha moment makes no difference. It gives you information of the why, the what, the how, but it doesn't give you access to treating and healing that part. And like, that's why when we talk about, and this is why I started talking about this, like why we offer paid programs, because while I would love to point and have you have these aha moments and go like, oh my God, it's amazing, I can't believe I've never heard that before. Like, it's not going to be the thing that changes your life.
That's right.
It's not going to be the thing that improves your relationship. It's not going to be the thing that changes your health. It's not going to be the thing that makes you more money. Like, I would love for it to be, but I've been doing this long enough where I know that it's not. But like sitting in connection with someone that allows you to bypass all the protective mechanisms that we have created.
Not bypass,
so that you can
be with more than bypass. I just want to make sure we're not bypassing. Yeah. Yeah.
So like you can like witness and start to be with, and then your system can start to repattern itself from the inside out, not from the understanding mind, but literally like it just moves and shifts and everything. And then you walk out to life and life isn't the same. Like literally. You're so shifted that everything around is shifted. And that, you know, when people tell me like, I don't have money to invest, and listen, I don't know what people's financial situations are, whatever it might be, right? But like, you're the one that you're going to be with for the rest of your life. People are going to come and go. Things are going to come and go. Your job's going to come and go. You are going to be with you for the rest of this life.
Can't
at least in this.
Can't divorce yourself.
Can't divorce yourself. So like, you're happy to invest $1,000 into buying one of these, right? Probably every year or two. You're happy to invest in drinks that numb your pain or whatever it might be. But like, it blows my mind that the one thing that we could invest and actually have the biggest ROI on, we don't.
Yeah. It's like people are like, what's the cost of this? But it's like, what's the cost of not, right?
Yeah.
So I love this. Great intro. And it speaks to, so I meditated a lot on this morning because I was like, you know, really, what is it? Like, what's this path that we've been on? What's this path that people take? And I'm sorry if I if you weren't complete there.
No, I was complete.
Yeah, and so we've been talking a lot about in the group as of late because we find it pivotal for you guys to at least start understanding that there is not a single journey for any individual person on their developmental journey. And what Elon is talking about, this authentic self that we all want to experience, and not just experience our authentic self, but it seems to be a biological and spiritual need to be seen as that. Not just by ourselves, like through our own thing, like my authentic self and experiencing it, but like be seen and recognized and acknowledged as that as well is an extraordinarily powerful thing. And for those experiences where we're with people and we let down all the guard and we're really our vulnerable self and with all the risk that's involved with being that, and we finally get received, we can tell you that the medicine that most people are looking for is simply that.
Yeah.
And so we've never been through our developmental cycle fully received by the people that were supposed to receive us because they actually didn't know how to receive you. Right. And I'm talking about like mom and dad or your caregivers. And so there's this, again, this biological perception that begins to happen. And so for a lot of mindset training, while very effective, and I'll explain more about that in just a moment here, while very effective, those early perceptions that happen at that 1 to 3 age that are really before language and cognition and stuff like that are just kind of energetically built into the system at the level of sensation. And so it doesn't matter what you understand. And again, I'll talk about more of that in just a second here. It's not going to help you get to those deep, rich parts of authenticity in the system that we really, 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 really want. Okay. So, by the way, so how many of you guys here, general blank question, know that you judge yourself? Say aye in the comment box. Aye.
Not me. I don't do any of that.
Aye. And maybe you don't call it judgment. Maybe for you it exists as anxiety. Like that's for me, it's mostly anxiety in my system. I don't sit here and have this like voice that's like judging me bad, you're wrong. Or some people that is the case. When I was younger, that was definitely the case. Now it shows up as like overwhelm or anxiety, right? Things like that. Stress, different stuff like that. So I. Yeah. And for those of you guys who are just putting I is AYE, like I. But I for all you guys doing the I too. So cool. So I was meditating on this morning, and I want you guys to know that what's in the pipeline for us is Elon and I are like really heavy on energetics right now. Super heavy onto that shit. And the reason for that is we spent 15 years in mastering personal development, psychology, neurology, linguistics. So it's like you can see, like, if there was a PhD programs are 8 year long, a lot of them. We did 2 of those for understanding the mind. Okay. Yeah. So like in that space, we're good. And sometimes when you've gone through a certain foundational process and you're like in that mastery process, it's hard to reflect back on really what was it like for somebody in the earlier processes. And so because we're so heavily in the energetics and that's what we want to teach, we also realize there are those of you in the group who are either really early on your path or haven't quite done the foundational work, and you still want to commit to that. And so we're going to bring back a version of our mindset programs to basically create a full journey for everybody here, from whether you've done zero work and the idea of energetics either makes you think that this is a total woo-woo bullshit, or it's just not where you're at. It doesn't connect for you and you're not ready for that step. And you're like, you know what? I just really want to understand how to communicate with my wife better. Yeah. I just want to stop judging myself. Like, those are huge goals to have that most people, by the way, never fulfill on in a lifetime and have the most incredible return on investment. So we are bringing back some developmental programs that we've developed over the years that are just universal knowledge, but that most people don't have access to, and allow you guys to choose. And for when our team communicates with you, to say, hey, look, it seems like you got to build this foundation before you go and start doing this work. So I want to talk to you about that, because where most of humanity still is at the level of victimhood. And that's a charged word. So I want to make sure that we define it in a way that works for you guys. Okay. Because victimhood makes it sound, what I'm basically saying is the perception is that something is happening to me, right? That's what a victim thinks like. Now, when we think of victim, we think there's a perpetrator, and we say, well, why would the victim take responsibility? Because someone's perpetrating. Aren't they the one that's responsible for doing that action? And yes, when we look at it simply from that place, that's a valid and obvious perception, right? But the person that wants to transform their life, let me just shut this down. I didn't know why this is open. For the person that really wants to transform their life, it is literally, I am telling you, impossible from that level of mind and that perception to transform anything. So, and again, just how many of you guys listening to this right now know that at some level, and maybe it's everywhere in your life right now, you live in that perspective. You live as a victim, say I. And I'm telling you, I have done that a lot in my life. I mean, I was a teenager that dealt with depression and suicide. When someone says I'm depressed and suicidal, you're not just living it. It is the only thing you know. Because every event that happens in your life is, why is this happening to me? I can't believe this is still, like, you feel like God's unwanted child. That was my perception. I was like the black sheep of the earth. And so my life didn't have much value to me, because if that's what I incarnated for, that's why I came into this physical body, to just experience discomfort and pain. You could see why it would seem like an obvious choice then. It's like, let's just end it. Like, let's just get out of this. What's the point of the ride, right? So that's where I started my journey. So I'm telling you from personal experience. So let me just, because like, I think sometimes when we hear victim, especially people who have done a lot of work, you're like, no, I don't do that anymore. Right. Like I just want to highlight some very simple things. If someone is driving in front of you and they're driving too slow for your liking at that moment, because you got to get somewhere, are they in your way? Get out of my way. That's victim. When you're as a parent and your kids don't listen to you, are they doing something to you? You're a victim. So I just want to get us out of this world of like, oh, I've done so much work, like I'm not a victim. Yeah, maybe you've turned the volume down on being a victim to everything, and now it's just like, I just want to highlight, like, if you're a human being, you have parts that act victim. You have moments throughout the day, multiples of them, where you think that you've taken something on personally, you think someone's doing something to you personally, etc. That's all being victim. So I just wanted to highlight that. Yeah, and thank you for that. And so I want to tell you that there's this really important distinction, because last time I was on here and I said that and I breezed by it and I created an upset for somebody who, by the way, I had very long conversations with and has had massive breakthroughs. Because when you've been, your whole life is in this, when somebody has the please save me kind of stuff, and by the way, if you're there, I'm not putting it down. I understand there are different levels of mind and different perceptions in which we live from. But when you're looking for something to fix it finally, that's a good indicator that and I think it's easier to call it level of mind than creating an identity of like you're a victim and all victims are like this. And then that doesn't even sit well in my system. But I want to tell you that there's a stark contrast that happens when a person does mindset work. And the contrast happens because at some level, there's some insight or realization that things aren't happening to you, they're actually happening for you. That's an important one. And the way that we start separating and unmerging these ideas is we start noticing that in society, we've collapsed the idea of responsibility with fault and blame. Right? And I'm telling you, Elon and I have done dissertations on this where we teach this for 3 to 4 hours. And the programs that we're rolling out talk about this in great length in order to show you all the different perceptions that one can have so that one can choose a new perception that's like, holy fuck, this perception opens up my whole world. This perception is throwing me into the ground. And so when we take on that responsibility is collapsed with fault and blame, of course, we're going to avoid wanting to be responsible for what's happening in our life or putting ourselves at source, because we're like, why would I want to blame myself for everything that's happening to me? That's ridiculous. And of course, there's a natural aversion in our own system because we're addicted to being right, by the way, about everything. So we have to be right about our victimhood and about our lack of responsibility. And so it's not a natural thing to put yourself in that seat when for a lifetime you've been trained that if you're responsible, you're to blame. Who the hell wants to feel that shit? But when you realize that you can start separating these two worlds and taking responsibility literally has nothing to do with fault, blaming, shaming, guilt, all that kind of stuff, something becomes possible. And that alone, by the way, that curiosity for some people alone will literally break them out of massive depression, because that's what happened to me. It had not even dawned on me that that was possible until somebody revealed that to me. Okay. So how many of you guys here know that like responsibility is a big piece for you? Say I, right? Say I in the group. So what I want to let you guys know is that what I think mindset work is very effective at is pulling people out of victim mindset and taking you to that next level of consciousness, if you want to call it that, or awareness, where one starts seeing themselves as literally the source of all that's showing up in their life. Okay. And so if you're there, I would tell you, like, your focus is go do the mindset stuff. Like, get yourself to the foundational place where you're like, wow, it's always been me this whole fucking time. It was my perceptions. And we show you through certain technologies how to very powerfully shift those perceptions for yourself, and then also bring those perceptions out into your reality and your relationships and stuff like that, so that the reality and the relationships reaffirm the transformation that you're having. Yeah. Because if you just change your beliefs in here, but there's no reaffirmation out here, you go right back to being the way that you are. That part is really important. And so there's certain technologies and ways you communicate things with people that allows for that reaffirmation to happen. And then you just step out into a reality that has agreement for your transformation. That's very different than reading a book, having an insight, and then arguing with everyone in your life about why you see things differently, which is what most people do, by the way. So where mindset kind of halts, if you want to call it that, is mindset doesn't heal the stuff inside. Mindset is like getting a new paint job on your car. But, you know, remember that old show, Pimp My Ride on MTV, where they would like take these old junky ass cars and they would like, you know, redo the body and redo the paint, and they'd put all these crazy PlayStations in the backseat. And I always used to sit there and wonder, I'm like, yeah, but the engine has like 200,000 miles on it. I'm like, and it's a rust bucket underneath. I'm like, so for all the work they've done, like the car is still a piece of shit basically underneath. And so personal development is kind of like that, right? It really deals so much more with our perceptive reality, which is really all out here. But it doesn't deal with, there are sensations out of my control happening within my system, many of which make me feel unsafe or anxious or overwhelmed or whatever, but it's really safety at the core. That something doesn't feel safe. A part of you doesn't feel safe. That no matter how much mindset you do, you're not going to look down the system and go, feel safe now. Stop having that emotion. It's never going to work. And so for me, it's like mindset work isn't even truly the definition of transformation. It's perceptive shift, but the transformation to me is healing. You've healed something. And that, where most people look at energetics and go, oh, that's too woo-woo, that's spiritual nonsense. But it's really spiritual science, not no science. It's science, spiritual science that's been around for thousands of years and has worked, where we start bridging these two, and what we call here, credit to Ken Wilber for the maps, the growing up work, which is the mindset work, and the waking up work, which is the energetic piece, the awareness and the multidimensional nature of humanity, of the human consciousness that's so expansive and infinite that most of you guys, outside of maybe doing a psychedelic journey with some mushrooms or ayahuasca, have never even known or tasted that such a thing is available to you, and the impact that can have on your life. And for that reason, science is now slowly catching up to this idea that we can use certain plants and substances, right, to heal depression very rapidly or make massive improvements in PTSD and things like this. Why? Because someone suddenly accesses their higher realm. They start accessing their multidimensional awareness space. It kind of forces you into what meditative practices and what the things that we show you in this group let you basically naturally access without using any substances at all. And so for one that really wants to go on this journey, right, because the victim is the judger, just to kind of bring it back to the basal idea, we've been talking here about self-judgment. A victim is the type of level of consciousness that judges themselves and everybody else nonstop. It's like a pure addiction of judgment, right? Then we move into the next level of mind where there's an awareness now. So as you judge, there's something watching the judgment and then can choose to stop judging. You get that? And then there's the third level where it's like there's no more judger. You healed it and the judger no longer exists. And so this is really the development that we're working on here and is going to be rolling out very, very soon, is to, you guys get to look at, hey, where am I? Where am I on this path right now? Am I still doing that? Yeah, okay, then you really get to start setting the foundation of your mindset work and doing that. If you feel like you are adept at that, then boy, do we have a fucking game for you to play when it comes to like the energetic space and starting to learn how these awareness practices really are really practical, really practical and extremely effective at healing the underbody, at changing out the engine, or at the very least renewing the engine. And I'm telling you right now, like we have a client right now who's a practice meditator for 45 years, and this stuff is rocking her life. I mean, the best way possible. Because it's like most people have used this kind of technology to try to calm the system down, like use it as a stress relief or something like that. But here's the reality: when I say that meditation and energetics is a technology, I really mean it. It is the technology for healing and for the transformation that probably most of you guys are desiring to see that shift on our planet. It is the access point. And the most wonderful thing about it is that you don't have to spread it or teach it to anybody else. You doing your work allows for that transformation to take place on the planet. So how many of you guys are just excited by what I'm sharing here? Say aye in the chat box. And then Broski, if you want to chime in on here a little bit, I'll fill in some gaps, feel free.
Continue. Huh? You can continue.
Okay. Yeah, so I want to just make sure that those are clear, right? That you have this growing up path that you can take, and that this will, in essence, significantly decrease the way that you're experiencing yourself, others, and the judgment that comes into your system. And then there's this other waking up piece, and it's really your willingness to want to learn about both and bridge them that takes transformation to levels unseen by most people, truly. So, before we continue the conversation, I just want to let you guys know that you have a few opportunities to participate in this group. If you want to come on these live streams and just have these kind of like conversations with Elon and me, you're absolutely welcome to do that. And there's other resources in the group, including meditations that you can take advantage of. And I would tell you that the real reason you're here is because Elon and I and the supportive community and coaches that we've created are here with a mission to assist as many people as we possibly can in experiencing the level of transformation that you guys get to hear about from us and from other people going through this as possible. So there's two opportunities to play right now. The first is we have a live event coming up at the end of April on the 24th and 25th of April. That's a Saturday and a Sunday. If you're like, whatever the fuck these guys are talking about, I'm not even sure what it is, but some of it sounds good, I think I want to play, and it's just like a yes in your body, then you're ready for our 2-day event. Okay. Tickets are still.
And I just want to point out that there's a high likelihood that this will be the last 2-day that we ever offer. So if you have not been to a 2-day and you want to do that, afterwards, we're in conversation right now to chunk it down to a 1-day with some auxiliary recorded information that you'll be able to go with in advance, like you'll be able to get through. But there's a very good chance that this is going to be the last 2-day. So if you've been sitting on the fence at all, if you've been putting this off, if you've thought this is a good idea, but one day, someday, I'm telling you, the one day, someday is April 24th, 25th, because after that,
yeah.
It's going to be different.
And the truth is, we're looking to serve more people, and we just see that the timelines are too long, and so we're going to start doing other stuff here, because like we're just ready to go. Like we're at this point in our lives, in our education, in our wisdom streams, and the things that we can bring through, where we're just like, we know we got the best game in town, and we want to scale the shit out of what's happening here, and we really want to build a massive community of people who are cultivating this awareness, because it's life-changing. Just, for the people who are in the chat box, just scroll through. And for those of you guys who've been in 2-day experiences, other experiences, want to share, it is radical. It is unexplainable to most. And it is so far beyond what people can anticipate, what can change in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
We're not used to these kind of things. So we think it's a lot of hard work. We're telling you it's commitment, but it doesn't have to be hard work.
It's commitment and consistency. The work itself is actually, it's so simple. We find time and time again, like Guy and I are all about simplicity. After doing this stuff for 20 years, I can tell you, I've read some of the most insane books that are like make your head just pop, like your brain like oozes out of your ears because someone's just so smart, right? But at the end of the day, like, it's not super practical. It makes you feel really smart. It makes you you're like, I get it. But I'm all about simplicity. And this work that's coming through us at this moment is the simplest. It's almost too simple where your mind will look at it and go like, it can't be this easy. Yeah. It just can't be this easy. So I think let's leave it at that. If you're ready to go.
And by the way, that's what I want to say to that. And it's because of the simplicity that we often miss it, because we have been conditioned to believe in complexity and hardship and all these different things. And we talk about this in great detail. There has been a conditioning on our planet for thousands of years. Not your parents' fault. It's a lineage shit that's been going on here. Like, you guys know the history, right? I don't have to explain to you the history of the globe. So that's just what's been going on. And it's just time. Like we're evolving beyond that. People have evolved beyond that. The technology is here. If you want it, you can either have a dumb phone from the year 1998 or come upgrade to your smartphone. That's basically what's on offer here, right? So if you know that you want to come to our next live event, again, April 24th, 25th, I saw a few of you asking in there, just type in the chat box, I'm ready. Nikki and Jasmine are in there, and they will reach out to you and send you a link. And then even if you're watching this on replay, you can still type I'm ready, and we scour these comment boxes later on. And if for some reason we don't reach out to you, please don't get annoyed. We have almost 17,000 people we're managing in this group. Reach out to me, Elon, Nikki, Corey, Jasmine. You can easily find our data or just ask, where can I find this? We will get back to you super quick, like very prompt. Yeah. And then again, we're still on promo price until another week or so for the event, so you can still save yourself some money there. If you're like, this is all really interesting, guys, but like honestly, buy me a drink first. That kind of attitude. Fine, we totally get it. Some people, we get it. You might have to be here a few weeks, a few months before you feel safe enough or comfortable with these two guys or anything else that we're doing here to make that move. And maybe you're like, hey, look, I want to, and I have some questions, or I have nervousness about this. Awesome. Guess what? That is why we have people in this group who are constantly looking to have conversations with you about how we can support you. And just so you understand, we can support you. We know we can. And we understand, and trust me, we believe in free choice. So all we can do is lay out a path for you and say, hey, look, if you walk down that path, it's a really good path. It seems like you're really struggling over here. This is going to make a difference. And you still get to choose. We don't have high pressure sales here. We don't use NLP on you to fuck with your brain so you make a choice, because we don't want you to wake up, buy a ticket on Tuesday, wake up on Wednesday, go, why did I do that? We want you to feel good about your choice and freely come to our events curious and wanting to learn about something that we're telling you right now, 99.99% of our planet does not have access to.
Correct.
So if you want to have that conversation so you can make your free choice, just type in contact me. And then someone from the team will make sure that you have a conversation. we know we're talking about esoteric, sometimes metaphysical things here, and you can't conceptualize it because guess what? You can't conceptualize it. You just can't. You can not conceptualize it. It's like conceptualize God. We can explain it. We can talk. We can talk about it, but it's like conceptualize love. We can talk about it, but we know that the only thing, like, try to explain to a child what falling in love feels like, or being with your soulmate feels like. You can conceptualize it, but you also understand from the point of view, from your level of mind and perception, that the child has never directly tasted or experienced what you're talking about. And so they can create an idea about love, but they've never had the direct experience of love. And so they don't understand love.
I have an even one that, like, for a lot of people that are listening right here, they probably know, like, when you grew up and you were a kid and your mom or dad were like, you won't know what love is until you have your own kid. And you were like, no, I know, like, I love you. Maybe you had like, someone that you loved in school or whatever it is. Right. And then they put that baby in your hand for the first time. And you go home and you hold this little being who can't communicate, can't talk, doesn't even know that you really exist, can't let you know that he knows that you're there, right? You tell me, you try to explain to someone the level of love that you can experience as a parent, or now I'm realizing, like, I'm watching grandparents, like my parents become grandparents, and I'm clear that being a grandparent is the world's greatest thing. Like, I'm clear, and I'm clear that I have no idea what that could possibly feel like. Like, I'm at this point where I just know. So even that, like, you've read books about people becoming parents, you've watched movies, but like, until that happens to you, you cannot understand. And you think that everyone else that tells you that being a parent is all it is, you think it's like some big gag that they're pulling on you, because you look at them and you're like, what are you talking about? They don't sleep. I haven't seen them in 2 years. They seem miserable. Like, what are they, like, they're trying to convince me to have this kid, like, so that I can be this miserable. But no, you just don't get it. And so it's interesting, like, this work is kind of in that realm of, until it's felt for you experientially in your own body and in your own system, I can't tell you how many times people, like this woman, for example, who's been meditating for 45 years, or like other people, you've read books about these states. Mm-hmm. You've heard really smart, enlightened beings talk about these states. And you really do think that you know what these states are and that you've experienced them. And this is not to, like, bust your bubble or anything like that, but, like, you haven't, because you've experienced them and thought about them in your mind, and you can conceptualize them. But the experience of it is very different. Guy and I are in a 2-year program. We're super lucky. They accept less than 100 people a year. We got in. They take us through this thing. So this past weekend, Guy and I, of 100 people, Guy and I get paired up together to do this exercise. And we dropped into this state together, a place that we've both been at separately and have felt. And yet this time, the experience of this felt place, like, both of us walked out of there dumbfounded. We were like, it was one of the coolest experiences. We got to share it together. There's a building up process through this that is unending. And it's just we've been doing this work every day for 5 years, and every day I do something or have some sort of experience where it leaves me in awe of the capability that I've had. And it always points back to, I'm like, that's what I read 10 years ago that they were talking about. And I was like, oh, I actually understand. Understand.
Yeah. And so that's and that's the valid point, is that we have been, because of the way school systems are and whatever, it's like understanding, logic, linear thinking, progression, that kind of stuff is the way to learn everything, and the way to succeed at things, and the way to resolve things, and So it's like you get into a conversation with somebody and you get heated. And by the way, still happens to me and Elon. We're not perfect. We're humans. Right? Like, we're humans. Like, we get to give up that we got to resolve humanity. Like, we just haven't accepted humanity. There's just nothing to resolve about humanity. We are how we are. And there's other ways that we can be, that Elon and I are honestly like shifting into, that our clients get to shift into, right? There's so many other ways that we can be, but most of us operate from this conditioning of linearity. So then, because school was, hey, let me understand this, the authority figure tells me the thing, then I got to tell the authority the thing that they told me. And if I tell the authority figure something different than what they told me to say, I get a bad grade.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like we're reaffirming a version of reality to children, right? If the children don't reaffirm that version of reality, they get bad grades. So they think they're bad at life, or bad at human, or a bad student. Think about how ridiculous that is. And then you get trained that when you go into the workplace, you're going to have another authority figure. And then there's the government as the authority figure, right? And all these different layers. And I'm not making any of it wrong, but I'm just showing you like where the conditioning is at. And it's been effective for getting us through certain periods of our transformation and evolution. And we can transcend so far beyond all this. So if you're of the mind that by understanding a concept, you can heal yourself,
you can't.
You just can't. We tried it for a really long time. And there's hypnosis and NLP and all these things, and they kind of will scratch at the surface of these things. But I want you to get, when you're having a conversation with somebody and you get fucking pissed off, and I'll transmit a little bit pissed off because I do pissed off really well. You're not going to stop yourself and go, oh yeah, there's a 3-step process I'm supposed to do when I'm angry. Step 1, breathe deep. Step 2, remember, I'm responsible here. And step 3, talk to them in a nonviolent communication. Like, it's never going to happen, because there's no stability for it to happen. You are now, there's a part within you. It's not you, by the way. It's so important you guys get this. It's not you that comes out. There are parts in our system, because of the way that humans develop, that did not go through development in a healthy way. Not a bad way, just not a healthy way. And so that part developed a belief that it's not safe. And in order to create safety, creates a defensive strategy, right? Here's, I'm going to defend myself. And over time, as you applied that strategy over and over and over and over again, that strategy became a pattern. And now that pattern runs underneath the consciousness of your mind, the same way that I don't need to think about raising this cup. There's no thought here. It just does it because it's done it 5 billion times, right? Or Elon gets a drink too, right? Or the way you scratch your face, or all the other little tics and things that we do, are these little ways that we try to make ourselves feel comfortable in the moment as sensation is arising in our system. Most people have no awareness that they have sensation arising in their system. They're just doing the thing. So we cannot work that patterning from the conditioned mind that's obsessed with understanding, that thinks by understanding it's going to change the conditioning. The conditioning is what's understanding. So it takes more of that understanding, it applies it to the conditioning. And so you become a better manager, so to speak, right? If you think about a child who's just like hyperactive, doing this all day long, just running around. I have a 2-year-old at home, so I watch a lot of this happen. First of all, it's glorious and amazing, the amount of self-expression that comes out of this little being. He's up, he's down, he's smiling, he's sad, right? Like, it's like their exploration in 5 minutes. I don't get that in a month.
I know, it's so fast.
It's fucking amazing. But so what happens as you get older? You go to the authority figure tells you that's not how reality is. You go, oh, okay, I'm going to get a D if I think that's where reality is. They're like, yep, okay, I need to get an A. Let me tell you about when Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Right? Some stupid thing like that. And so as you develop more understanding, you become a better manager. And then what do you become? You become still and stoic. and kind of dead inside, because everything that wants to arise in your system that is of you, the true essence of you, your pure self-expression, can't come out because you have developed so many parts of you that are now managing the fucking system that you don't even have a semblance of recognition of who you once were. And so we run around in this world trying to attach more shit to us or more understanding. And it's like getting me sad, because it's like you can feel the pain in us culturally, in society, and the indigenous, right? And all these things about how we've tried to change all this, but the conditioning is still the foundation. And so we've just become better managers. And then what we call an adult is just a child that manages itself better so it doesn't look crazy when it's outside in public. It's basically it. But when you're home all alone and this music is on and you start dancing and no one's watching, we say dance like no one's watching, but nobody's fucking dancing like no one's watching. Everyone's dancing like everyone's watching.
I
sorry for the stream.
There's a reason that I've started to notice like all this stuff happens and arises. There's something, right? Like, so the managers that guy's talking about, think about, just pause and think for a second, like, why do I need all these managers? Why do all these things arise? Why do I need to come up with new strategies on how to not get angry at my husband or yell at my kids or be upset or run away or whatever? Like, right? Those are all strategies, management strategies to, in the moment, bring safety to your system. Like this huge charge hits your system you're unaware of. It pings all these things. The mind goes, oh no, this is really bad. Fix this. And then you go into your strategy. Okay. So when we do the foundation work, the growing up work, what we're actually learning is how we're structured, right? Like what makes you tick, why you do the things you do, et cetera. And then you create all these management styles to kind of operate in life. What I feel like now is what we're bringing through and helping people understand is like, if you stop and think, why do I need all these managers? Or like, when does a manager get activated? When does a part get activated? It gets activated because in the moment, the judge piece, the self-judge piece, has judged something as not good or not good enough.
Yeah.
Because like, if something bad happens to you, right? Now we have this judger. It's like, that wasn't supposed to happen. Why is this happening to me? That shouldn't happen. But here's the flip side of it. And this is how you know humans are just wired in a strange way. Something good happens to you. Like, you go to work, you've had a conversation, you want to get a promotion. They come back to you and you had a number, I'm going to get a $20,000 raise. You get to work and they give you a raise. They give you $10,000 raise. Are you happy? Something good happened to you. You just got $10,000 more in your pocket. Are you happy? You're not happy. In that moment, you're not happy. You're upset because it wasn't supposed to be like that. You were supposed to get $20,000, not $10,000. Now your shit is going, they don't respect me. I do so much for this company. They don't respect me. I deserve that, but they didn't give me that. Meanwhile, they just gave you 10 grand, right? Like, this is how loony we are. So I just want you to stop here for a second and just imagine, like, close your eyes for a second and just imagine with me. Imagine you lived in a world where right now you're in this place of like, one thing is the only thing that can show up in your life and make you happy. And the 1,000 of other opportunities that can come, it doesn't matter. They're going to get you pissed. So there's only one way that life can turn out that you're going to actually be happy. Now, close your eyes for a second and just be here in this world with me. Imagine you got to a place where 1,000 1,000 things could happen that would all make you happy and peaceful. Not just one. Where you expanded so much into this world that when a screaming kid shows up, or a $10,000 instead of a $20,000 raise, or something gets hurt in your body, or someone leaves, like, you're still good. That you're not waiting for this one moment, this very specific moment to come. And if it doesn't come in this exact specific fashion, it throws you into a tizzy. Imagine you just expanded into this place where you could accept and be with so much more.
Mm-hmm.
How much more peace and joy and fulfillment would you have in your life if you could expand into that ability? This work isn't about like acquiring more, doing more, achieving more, all that stuff. If that's in your alignment and that truly is what will bring you peace and happiness and fulfillment, that's how the self-expression of this work is going to happen for you. But there have been so many things that we have programmed in as a delusion to what we actually think we need. Because the thing that's telling you what it needs is a hurt little boy or girl inside that doesn't feel good enough or seen enough or worthy enough or trustful enough. And so it says, in order for me to feel enough, I need you to go do this. And you run around like a chicken with your head cut off and you do that. And then life doesn't show up the way you want and blah. It's just, I don't know, like, it's tiring. I don't know how else to say it. It is exhausting to live life that way. And when you're exhausted, you make poor decisions. When you're exhausted, your relationships suffer, your health suffers, stress levels through the roof, your body suffers. You're literally killing yourself from the inside out. Imagine, just feel what it would feel like if you lived in a world where, as life happened, you wouldn't have this thing all the time. It would just like start to chill. And that's the invitation. It's like,
we're inviting you to chill.
Step out of that rat race world, the fix everything and everyone, change everything and everyone world. Like, if you enjoy that world, keep doing what you're doing. By all means, you got a choice. But like, there is 1,000,000% way that you could live in another way that is way easier on you, on everyone around you. And it's just, it's hard to understand how close it is to you. Like how it when I describe that, you might not even have like an ability to even witness it, because you're like, I can't even imagine that world, right? Like, I'm telling you, that world is a lot closer to you than you think.
It's like the light touching your skin, but you're not aware of the light.
Yeah.
So to just start putting a bow on this stuff, and then there's some questions here that I'll briefly touch upon, and then we'll close it out with a quick video. So if you guys have been listening here, and again, there's some part of you that's just screaming yes. If at any part, well, we were talking, you're like, yep, like, and I'm not talking even like here, like some part of you is like inside, you're like, you know, like when you see the one and you're like, like that, you're supposed to be at our next 2-day program. Like, we call it intuitive mind because it takes intuition to even get in there. Like, you got to intuit your way into things. Like, think about all the great things in your life were mostly intuitive decisions. You could sit around and debate pros and cons and thinking about it, but like internally, there's a desire that is pulling you in a direction. You could talk yourself out of it. Certainly talk yourself out of anything. Right. And that's what we say. Like, people who come, they're like, I'm so happy I trusted that yes, even when I wasn't exactly sure what I signed up for. You don't got to be sure, because like this stuff is hard to be sure of. What you're gonna train on is alternate states of consciousness. We can call it meditation because that's what most people think about when they think about altered states, but we're talking about direct access to altered state. We're not talking necessarily about you tripping your balls off or seeing sacred geometry everywhere, although that happens to people, believe it or not. Just kind of depends on how your system is organized. We're talking about how to literally unmerge yourself from the prison of your conditioned mind. If you would like to learn how to develop an awareness that is no longer succumb to the prison of the conditioned mind, and then understand how to leverage that from direct experience for healing, that's what our work is. Clear? Again, if you need the mindset piece and the foundation, and you're stuck in some of these darker spaces, you're working through some of the victim stuff, you're learning about responsibility, how you can be like way more successful in your life and have communication and relationships work for you, the mindset piece might be appropriate for you. In either case, if you're like on the fence with our work, have a conversation with somebody. Again, in the comment box below, just say, contact me. And then Nikki, Corey, Jasmine will reach out to you, have a conversation with you. Just so you guys know, if you're not friends with them already, when they contact you, your messages end up in your other, message request folder in Messenger. So you might have to just check in there. But if you are a friend, so just like if you're like, please contact me, and then you don't see a message and you start getting upset about it, it might just be in your other folder. And how you get there is you have a little profile picture on your Messenger. You tap on it, or you click on it on desktop, you'll see it pulls down, it says message requests. You click on it, you'll find it in there, okay? If you're like, this is exquisite, good to go, I'm gonna trust my yes, then you wanna enroll yourself in our 2-day event. That's your next step, okay? And if you're that person, then in the comment box below, just say, I'm ready. And then again, Nikki, Corey, Jasmine will send you a link so that you can purchase your ticket. And again, they're still on discount until a little bit from now, okay? So, with all that, a few of you guys asked, and I kind of just touched on it right now. We do speak about meditation, and we use meditation as the terminology to kind of be like, hey, do this meditation, because people have a perceptual concept of what meditation is. So they know I need to sit, I need to be quiet, and that's aspects of it. We add the words active healing meditation because we want you to understand that what we're taking you through is the beginning fundamentals of literally retraining how you use perception itself, like how you actually use awareness itself, okay? A few of you guys asked specific questions about, I think one person asked specific conversations about relationships and stuff like that and heartbreak. And we get it, guys, and we wish we can give you all the time in the world, but here's the truth. We're husbands, we're parents, we're business owners that employ quite a number of people. And like our time, just like your time, is literally your most valuable asset. And so we create systems here where we can give you as much time as we possibly can to support the communities that say that they want it, right? Obviously, people who've raised their hand and are in programs are always going to be our priority because we've given them our word that we're going to support them in a specific way. And there's ways that we do that. So it's very difficult for us to give you one-on-one coaching in a group of 17,000 people. You know, it is what it is. If you have those questions and that's what you want to resolve or work on, that's what the programs are for. That's the honest truth. And here's the thing. If we have a guarantee on our programs, if it doesn't knock your socks off, I mean, like, you don't walk out of there going like, what the fuck just happened? You know, like in the best way possible, just come get your money back. We understand we're talking about things that are actually quite difficult to explain to the mind, right? And so we also understand that you're taking a leap of faith to be in a program. And if a program doesn't add value to your life, then we should not get value from you. Like, we shouldn't get a remuneration from you. And that's our belief. So just come get your money back. I can tell you that barely anybody ever takes us up on that offer. You're right. Most of the time it's because they don't show up to a program or they just decide not to participate or whatever it is. But for those that do this work, it's life-changing across the board.
Correct.
Yeah, alters fundamentally the way that you live your life. So we are not the company that tells you, hey, come here, you learn this and you're going to make more money. That's an easy sell for a lot of people, right? Because it's, oh, okay, cool, if I do this, I'll make more money. And 97% of people don't make more money when they do those things, but they still sign up for it. But our belief is that the best return on investment you can get in your life is an investment in yourself. And if so, you're interested in qualitatively quantum leaping your experience of life, and that's the return on investment you're looking for, then we got an awesome game for you to play. And that's what it's about. So again, if you're ready, I'm ready. If you want someone to talk to you, click contact me. As a way to kind of wean us out of this conversation, guys, thank you so much for being here and your attention. We know there's a million places you could be. We really honor the fact that we get your attention when you come to these. We hope today made a difference for you or woke up some curiosity in your mind. I will play you out with just a very quick testimonial of somebody who went through it today. His name is Tobias. And you can just listen to his experience of going through that program. So you're not just hearing it from us. On the sales pages and stuff like that for the programs, there's tons of these testimonials. We have more than we know what to do with at this point in time. So if that's what you feel like you need is that social proof, just go watch the videos. And I would offer to like listen to it from a felt place, like listen to how people are feeling about the experience, because it's so beyond what they have normally lived that sometimes they find it difficult to find words for it. So it's really about like, what's their experience? And that's what I would ask you to like view from that place. Okay. So I'll play you guys out. Again, thank you for being here. We love you very much. We care deeply about your life and your transformation. And we hope we see you at our next event or in one of our programs. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Hi everybody, I am recording this video for Guy and Elon Ferdman because I just went through their 2-day Have It All event online, and first of all, from the bottom of my heart, Guy and Elon, thank you so incredibly much. I'm so happy I went through that experience because I just feel so energized and recharged and way more aware of how I feel and certain reactions I have. So to give some insight into the step-by-step sort of experience that I had after the first day, I had this massive awareness of just minor pinches and contractions and things in my body that I kind of noticed before, but really noticed on a deeper level. I actually went camping after the first day because I was watching the event from a recording, and just throughout the whole thing, the whole camping trip, I noticed so many different contractions and reactions and things in my body that like my level of awareness of my entire body has gone up, and that blew my mind. And then day 2, I watched part of it and then went to bed and finished the next morning. And after doing one of the meditations, going into my body and bringing up sensations that I felt and reactions that I felt towards relationships, I actually felt like crap, which is interesting because during the first meditation on the first day I felt amazing, and then I started to battle with myself a little bit. Maybe not battle, but I started to feel frustrated and upset that I wasn't getting the experience that I maybe thought I should have gotten. But then I was quickly reminded that what I was experiencing was perfectly for me and designed for my individual experience. And then I sat with this exhaustion and this tiredness and this lack of focus that I had, and it passed soon afterwards, and then I felt incredible, and that's where I'm at now. So I just finished the event, I just finished the recording, and I feel super stoked and energized and excited for more of these types of experiences. So again, thank you all, Guy and Elon and everybody else who was on that. If they're watching this, thank you. I'm really looking forward to more and to connecting with you guys on a deeper level, and whoever else is watching this who's interested in doing this type of work. I can't say enough about how profound it is and how powerful it is, and also how simple it is. It's so simple and so powerful. It's like the key. It's unlocked a lot for me. So I appreciate you all again, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.
Thank you again, guys, for being here. Instructions are below on how to get in touch with us. Love you lots. Talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, dear one, for choosing to share a bit of your day with us. We value you greatly. And as a way to give back and help you to deepen these practices, we want to invite you to join our incredible community on Facebook. You can do so easily by going to joinoldsouls.com and ask for an invite. This is our private community where old souls and seekers are able to grow and share their journey with others. We hold exclusive weekly live streams, we answer your personal questions, and offer valuable insights that we won't be able to share here on the podcast. So again, just head to joinoldsouls.com and grab your invite today. And as always, if you enjoy this podcast, please head to iTunes and leave us a review. It's the only way other people can find this show, so if it's making a difference in your life, please share the love. Until we meet again, have an amazing week, dear one.